Alan Turing was an underappreciated British mathematician and computer scientist who helped shape the outcome of World War II by triumphantly solving the German Enigma and advancing technology along the way. He was treated poorly despite having used his intelligence for good in the world, which led to his tragic and untimely death. Alan Matheson Turing was born to Julius Matheson Turing and Ethel Sarah on June 23, 1912, in Paddington, London. At the end of 1922, he was introduced to the world of science with the book Natural Wonders Every Child Should Know, and it opened his mind to many questions. In 1926, Alan began to attend Sherborne School. Sherborne was an all-boys private school in England. On Alan's first day of school, the 1926 general strike in Britain was occurring. Alan was often teased during the years he spent at Sherborne. He was socially awkward and was often the butt of many jokes. The housemaster, Geoffrey O'Hanlon, said, Alan had no friends, and at least once in this year he was trapped underneath some loose floorboards in the house day room by the other boys. Alan took much interest in chemistry, math, and science. He paid little attention in literature classes. In several reports, teachers complained about Alan's handwriting. In fact, the headmaster issued a warning that if he did not improve his work ethics, he would be expelled. So for the summer of 1928, his father coached him in English. When he returned, O'Hanlon reported his papers were astonishingly legible and tidy. At the age of 15, Turing gave his mom a little red memo book of notes on Einstein's theory of relativity. Alan wrote, It is meaningless to ask whether 2 points are always the same distance, as in your unit and your ideas have to go by that definition. These ways of measurement are really conventions. You modify your laws to suit your method of measurement. In 1927, Alan met Christopher Markham in the library of Sherborne. Alan had been very struck by Christopher, partly because of his small frame. He was a year older than Alan and very thin and frail. One day, on accident, Alan discovered that Christopher spent a certain period on Wednesdays in the library and not at his house. Alan began meeting him there. He wrote, I so enjoyed Chris's company there, and ever since I always used to go to the library instead of my study. They were often found talking about mathematics and science. Alan obtained 1,033 marks in his mathematics papers, whereas Christopher earned 1,436. Alan had a crush, which grew into unrequited love. Alan and Christopher wrote notes to each other during math and science classes, often in codes they had learned together. They wrote letters to each other during breaks too. They would share theories and ideas. The other would either agree or explain why it couldn't work. Soon, they took interest in astronomy, and Alan started to make a spectrograph. He wrote to Markham about it, and Christopher said in a letter he wished to see it. Christopher was given a scholarship to Trinity College. Alan did not, so Alan wrote to Markham asking which college he should try for in the next year. Christopher replied with, John's is a very good college, but of course I should prefer personally that you came to Trinity where I should see more of you. 3 weeks into the term, a few visiting singers gave the concert. Alan watched Christopher, telling himself, well, this isn't the last time you'll see Markham. Later that night, he woke up from sleep about the same time Christopher fell ill and was sent to the hospital 2:45. The moon was setting behind Christopher's house, and Alan thought it could be taken as a goodbye to his dear friend Markham. Of course, Alan only thought goodbye meant Christopher leaving to college, but after 6 days of pain on Thursday, February 13th, 1930, at noon, Christopher died of bovine tuberculosis from drinking spoiled milk. I feel sure that I shall meet Markham again, and somewhere that will be some work for us to do together, and as I believe there was work for us to do here. Now that I am left to do it alone, I must not let him down, but put as much energy into it, if not as much interest, as if he were still here. If I succeed, I shall be more fit to enjoy his company than I am now. The Enigma was a machine that was used by German military intelligence for top-secret communications between members of the Nazi high command. The Germans put top-secret information about planets into the Enigma, and then the Enigma coded it, so they could send information to each other without a third party being able to understand the message. The Enigma coded the message so well, there were 15 million possible outcomes for each message. The code, however, changed every single day, leaving only 24 hours for each possibility to be tested. The first Enigma was made by German engineer Arthur Scherbius in the early 1920s. The Polish codebreakers Jerzy Rosiecki, Henry Zygalski, and Marian Brzezicki actually solved the Enigma before Turing did. The Polish figured out that the mathematics needed to be used to find patterns in the messages. Once the Polish broke the Enigma code, they made the mistake of publicizing that they were able to intercept and understand the messages. The Germans found this out, so they further complicated the Enigma. During World War II, the Germans began using the Enigma again. The British military recruited a group of some of the most creative thinkers in England to work together in solving the Enigma. This team included Alan Turing, Joanne Clark, Hugh Alexander, Peter Hilton, John Cairncross, and Stuart Menzies. Once the team was assembled, Turing went straight to creating and building what is now known as the bomb. The bomb is an electrico-mechanical device that was used by the British and Polish to decipher the Enigma encrypted messages by the Germans. The bombs were 7 feet wide, 6 feet tall, and 6 inches tall, and weighed 1 ton. They had 12 miles of wiring and 97,000 different parts. When Turing was building the first bomb, he had a budget of 100,000 pounds, equal to $129,507 US. The bomb was an electrico-mechanical machine that was comprised of the equivalent of 36 different Enigma machines, each one containing the exact internal wiring of the German counterpart. Once the bomb is turned on, the Enigmas are issued a pair of letters from one of the German encrypted messages. The machine's rotors moved at a rate mimicking the Enigma, checking approximately 17,500 possible positions until it finds a match. The machine only stops when each Enigma machine finds what it believes to be the matching pair of letters at the exact same time and opens its electrical circuit. The team had to make the difficult decision of choosing which ships were important enough to save and which could be saved. Alan knew that if they saved every ship from the line of fire, the Germans would stop using the Enigma to communicate. For 2 years, they played God, keeping everything a secret. If they hadn't, the war would have had a very different outcome. It's estimated that they shortened the war by 2 years, saving 14 to 21 million lives with the bomb. As Alan once said, sometimes it's the very people that no one imagines anything of that do the things that no one can imagine. Years after solving the Enigma, Alan Turing worked at the University of Manchester. In 1952, Alan Turing was arrested for dating 19-year-old Arnold Murray. Alan Turing was robbed. Arnold was struggling financially, and he was the only one with access to Turing's flat. After being confronted, Arnold admitted that the robber was an acquaintance of his, and he pointed out Alan as an easy steal. Arnold gave him the keys and information. Alan turned him into the police, and during the investigation, Alan admitted to having a sexual relationship with Arnold. Alan was charged for gross indecency, and he pled guilty. Alan and Arnold went on trial on March 31st, 1952. They were both convicted, and Alan was given the choice of imprisonment or chemical castration using Lubron, a drug that reduces male hormones, resulting in the loss of sexual desire. He chose the pills, believing he would be able to continue his work. However, he eventually lost coordination in his limbs, and because he could no longer conduct experiments like he used to, he became depressed and resorted to suicide, eating an apple dipped in cyanide poisoning. He was found dead in his room by a maid on June 7, 1954, at the age of 41.